What's up, everybody, and welcome back. So we got something new here, trying something a little bit different. A project bike. So far I've just been doing mods on a couple of things, my Speedmaster mainly. But to be honest, of the bikes that I have, my Speedmaster's too new. I'm not really thrilled with the idea of hacking it apart. My other bikes don't really need anything. So I wanted something that I could just like really dig in and just play with. So a while back, and this is really before I even started riding, a while back I saw a picture of the Walking Dead motorcycle that they built for Norman Reedus. And I haven't watched Walking Dead since Negan was introduced, so I hadn't seen this motorcycle before, but I just thought it was so cool. And from that, I've also seen different cafe racers. And so I got it in my head that I wanted to try to find something to build into a cafe racer or something inspired by the Walking Dead bike. You know, basically stripping it down, putting like lower handlebars and modern forks maybe, and just something fun, right? Something to play with. So I've been keeping my eye out for a while. And I started to narrow down my list. And I wanted something. I wanted an inline four. I wanted it to be, something Japanese. And it seemed to be that the CB750 from Honda was kind of like the go-to. So that's really what I was focusing on, was one of those. But it seems like everybody wants to modify one of those. So the prices were a little bit more than I wanted to pay. So then one day, this guy popped up. And so this is a 1981 GS750 from Suzuki. This, I believe, is the L model, which is their cruiser model, which has a slightly different frame from the other GS750s. It has the taller handlebars and the exceedingly comfortable looking seat. I'll give it that. But otherwise, the engine is the same power plant of other GS750s of that year. So this guy, it's not the desirable GS750 apparently, but I got this bike for $500 with a title, with a key, 8,400 original miles, and this bike is almost as old as I am. So I thought, for $500, if nothing else, it gives me something to play with, it gives me something to build up, even if it isn't in fantastic condition. It's got some rust, it's got some funk. So the story behind this bike, or at least what I know about it. So supposedly this bike hasn't run in 6 to 10 years. I bought it off of a woman whose husband passed away. She wasn't sure the last time that he had ridden it. So it's been sitting for quite a while, and it reflects that, believe me, when you start looking closely at it. Like I said, I started digging into this model a little bit. I didn't know much about the GS750s. And I learned a lot of cool stuff. So, first off, the motor. So it's an inline four, exactly what I wanted. This is an air-cooled inline four, and it is the beginnings of Suzuki trying to attack that inline four market. So apparently Honda had been doing it for years. I don't know about Yamaha or Kawasaki, but Suzuki only started building the inline four in around 1977, I think. So in 1977 to 1979, 2 valves per cylinder. In 80 or 81, I believe it was 80, they came out with their 4 valve per cylinder, so 16 valve engine, and that's what we have here, is the 16 valve variant of the air-cooled engine. So I just think it's neat, being the age that it is. So what are we going to do with this? Well, first step is to get it running. So one of the people who had come to look at the bike before me and did not purchase it did verify that it turned over, and they did put some oil in the spark plug holes, so in the cylinders themselves, which I did verify. I pulled a couple of, 2 of the plugs and noticed that they were wet, so somebody had put some oil in there. The battery is dead. Even with a jump pack, it was basically draining things down, so I did hook up a battery with some jumper cables, and I did verify that it does indeed turn over at least, so the engine is not seized, so that's good. But I haven't really done anything else. And to be honest, I want to make this like a series for YouTube. The hardest thing for me is stopping to record, because I've had this bike in the garage now for like 3 days, and I just want to rip it apart. And I'm trying really hard not to do that, because I want to try to record it, not just for YouTube, for, you know, obviously growing the channel a little bit, but just kind of a neat little record for myself and for my friends to just kind of see how this thing comes along. So first thing I want to do is I want to get it running. You know, we verified that the engine turns over, but I want to get it legit running. The gas tank has half a tank of something that used to be gasoline. It's not gasoline anymore, but I want to get it running and driving. That's step number one. Before I start spending money, and that believe me, for me is a difficult task, is to, before I start spending money, make a plan. So I want to get it running and riding before I start spending money. That is plan number one. The actual long-term goal, I'm not 100% yet. I know I have a vision in my head of what I like. That cafe racer inspired. I've heard it seen as a brat style, I guess. If it's more of just a low track style handlebar instead of actual clip-ons. I want to bob the back somewhat. I don't know if I want to do like a full-on cafe, just a flat seat with a hoop. I feel like that looks a little naked on a bike. Like I feel like a little bit of fender, just a little bit of fender would be nice. Short term, I'm going to cut down the front fender. We're going to keep the original forks. Long term, though, I really want to look into swapping out the front end for a modern sport bike. Again, going back to that Walking Dead type of inspiration, I think that looks so cool on these vintage bikes, is like a modern upside down fork front end. So that's more of a long term goal, though. For now, I just want to keep the fronts and do like either a low handlebar or some clip-ons, and just clean it up and ride it. You know, ride it and figure out what I like and what I don't like, and kind of go from there. So this is going to be a long-term project for me. I want to have some fun with this and try really hard to record so I can bring you guys along with me on the way. And then just, you know, leave me some ideas. You know, what should I do with this bike? You know, the cafe thing is really, really popular with this generation of Japanese bike. This particular model, because it's the cruiser model, apparently is not very popular for that, because of the shape of the tank. The lines between the tank and the frame and the seat don't form that sort of classic cafe line. I only found that out after I bought the bike, so I don't know if I care if it matches a classic cafe line. This is my bike, so I can do what I want with it. But yeah, so just want to say, you know, hope you follow along with this journey. I'm kind of excited to dig into it. It's going to give me something to do, something different for me. I've never done anything like this before. So yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be exciting.